Hi, and welcome back to the Save It for Parts channel, and back to Sandland, the happiest Alright, apparently we can't say that. We're already dangerously close to being on some corporate list for having a property ending in the word land and having a monorail. Anyway, welcome back to Sandland. Today we're doing some more digging back in the hillside here. We're going to be working on our underground speakeasy called the Sandbar. Before we can start digging today, we have to do some maintenance, like sharpening the chisel bits on our demolition hammers. Alright, so I've been working on the bar closet, and this is something we started in the previous video, and this is just a place to store all the dumpster booze that people keep leaving down here in the sandbar. We're currently about 4 feet into the access tunnel. We started to branch off into a room. We're eventually going to have about a 3 by 3 foot room back in there with some shelves. Then we can just put all this stuff back there, build a door, and we don't have to look at it anymore. Now we've got quite a few wagons of sand in here that JT hauled out, so these are ready to go as soon as Jim's out here to run the train again. Alright, now that I'm out in the far end of the donut room, I'm a little bit farther away from all that carcinogenic silica dust that we've been generating when we're mining in the sandbar. So I can take off some of my respirators and equipment and stuff and tell you about another project I've got. So this is my next idea for hauling the sand. We've been using a series of buckets and wagons and the train. I'm thinking we need to move the sand pneumatically with air pressure. Now, we've tried a shop vac before, and that was able to suck sand a little ways, and then it basically just killed the motor, clogged up the shop vac, and stopped working. So instead of sucking the sand with a vacuum, I'm going to try blowing it with this leaf blower. So here we have pneumatic sand conveyor test setup phase 1. We have our extremely scientifically rigorous test setup consisting of a bucket lovingly duct taped to a PVC tee. We have our leaf blower, and the idea is the leaf blower will blast down this tube, the sand will feed into it, and the sand will travel down the tube, make this right angle, and be deposited over there somewhere. And this is only 20 feet of pipe, so like I said, this is phase 1 testing. If this works, we'll try something a little more extreme. Now that thing's definitely going to put more sand in the air, so time for the respirator again. It seemed like it worked kind of poorly, possibly in part due to that hard 90-degree angle, so the sand just got stuck on that right angle turn. So instead, why don't we try a straight shot, no turns, right up the haulage tunnel. So it is blowing the sand uphill, but it's a straight shot, so maybe it'll work better. Let's give this a try. Alright, so that didn't really work either. So maybe a traditional leaf blower just isn't powerful enough to push sand uphill or through a pipe very far. If we want to do this pneumatic conveyor thing, we're going to have something a little more industrial strength. I don't have that right now, so that's going to have to be another video. Just working the old sand farm. Got a bumper crop of sand this year. We've come back home to the garage of infinite junk to look for some shelving material. Now I don't want to use just wood because that would rot underground, but I have all this plexiglass and plastic and other materials that I've been hoarding from various dumpsters. So we're going to dig through this, find some stuff that'll work for shelving, and cut it to fit in that closet hole. These should be approximately the right size. I've got some extra little pieces here to act as shims or supports. All right, we're back in the hole. We've brought down our shelf material. Now we just got to cram it down in the closet, get it all leveled out, and then we can start storing stuff. Now I can't seem to find the laser level, so we're going to be relying on this little handheld level for all our shelves. Not the best, but we'll get it as close as we can. Now I cut these to roughly fit, but of course they don't actually fit very well in this confined little closet. So I'm going to have to cut out some slots for the shelves to rest in. I'm going to put some other little supports underneath, and then I'll do another shelf up here. This might be a really boring video sequence because it is such a confined space. I won't really be able to set up a tripod, and you probably won't be able to see much of what I'm doing here. There we go, shelf space in the closet. Yes, it is a very small space, but I can walk in here, stand up, turn around, come out again, put things on the shelves. This is just what I need for storing all the junk on the bar. Great, I finally got my bar space back. Got my countertop mostly empty. Everything's stored back in here, and the space is already too small. Got stuff packed in on top of my dry box down there, so might have to expand it a little bit in the future, and I could reinforce these shelves so they'll hold more. I think I might be at the limit of dumpster beer on these, and they're starting to bow a little bit, so I have to beef those up slightly. And then I actually have more space behind the bar, which is nice. This has just been buckets of beer and junk back here forever, so now I've got space to go back here and be a bartender, and I can work on my little alcove down here for batteries and power system, and then do some other stuff. I'm gonna do a bar mirror. I had a mirror, but I think I broke it, so I'm gonna have to find another mirror, carve out a shelf for that, maybe put some of the display booze up on the shelf, and then we need to build a little door for this closet so we can hide our sins somewhat. That might have to be a future video. I'm gonna have to bring some bricks down, do some mortaring, and build some kind of a door to close that area off. I've got a lot more work to do on the bar as usual. We're going to keep expanding and expanding out this direction, just branch off all over the place. All right, giant collapsy noise just now. Don't know what that was. We better investigate. Sounded like it came from my closet here, but I don't see that anything fell down. I don't see any sand on the floor. After all these videos assuring you that this place will not collapse and we're perfectly safe, now I'm a little worried about what was that giant thud I heard. Now, back behind my closet, I don't know, 20, 30 feet is the Dave cheese, and another volunteer for Sandland, Dave, has been digging out a series of globes over there. I know he wasn't getting super close to over here, and we were trying to avoid each other with the surveying, but let's run over to Dave's area and see if something happened over there. So this is the next branch over from the donut room. And this is a really fun area. Dave's kind of gone all over the place. He's gone for more of a natural cave look. And then this series of little spheres or eggs or globes. So this is about the closest part to my bar closet. And there's definitely some sand on the floor. I can't tell if that's newly fallen or if that's just left over from when Dave was in here. There's footprints and bucket prints in it, so it doesn't look too new. And this section looks fine. Yeah, same here. Nothing new on the floor. That was a pretty big thumping noise to me, so I would expect to see like a big pile of sand or a rock or something on the ground from that. I really like these ledges he's done on the side. I intend to do a little train in my bar eventually, and I might do something like these ledges to run the railroad track on. I'm sure not seeing any evidence of collapse or new sand on the floor or anything. As I've said, it's extremely rare for the sandstone to come down unless we're disturbing it directly with a power tool. It usually doesn't fall down by itself at all. Let's check in Jim's maze. Natural crevice here that he's intersected. That's a weak spot, but again, nothing's fallen out of it. Jim's doing a spiral stairway there. It's not done yet. That's about as far as it goes, but that's going to be a cool feature in the future. And then Jim's got this little sitting room, and this little horrible crawl that I don't really want to go up, but Jim's into the small crawls and the confusing mazes, so that's his deal. And the rest of these branches are just dead ends at the moment, and none of them have had any work recently, so nothing to fall down in there. Nothing new out here. Now back here at the entrance, we do have a lot of snow melt coming down right at the entrance, the adit structure. It is spring and a lot of stuff's melting outside. I might do another video showing just how much stuff is melting and when we get kind of little floods outdoors. Now with the spring thaw, we do occasionally get stuff rolling down this steep hillside. Big rocks and trees and whatnot. I'll see if I have any archival footage of the big rock that rolled down onto Kyle's tent platform, or as I call it, the dance floor. Kyle, what do you think about this rock on your dance floor?
It's a big rock.
You can kind of see where it came from up there.
Oh, it's gonna go.
Oh, into the stairs, and to the bridge. Now, looking up the hill, I do notice there's a big tree that's fallen over, and that actually looks pretty new to me. I don't think this tree was like that when I came out here this morning. It's hard to tell for sure how long ago this fell over, if it was really today or if it was last week. It's definitely knocked over some other stuff along the way and scuffed up this rock here. Sometimes when these trees go, they knock rocks loose and roll down the hill as well, so it could have heard something like that. So I didn't see any sign of tunnel collapse down below, so I'm just going to assume that either it was that tree going, or it was a rock rolling down the hill, or something else like that related to the spring melt. Now we'll head back down to the dig site. I'll do a future video on all these stairs and trail systems that have developed over time out here. All right, well that was a little more excitement than I intended. I was in the middle of wrapping this video up when I heard that big thumping noise. So I guess I'll wrap it up for real now, and you'll have to stay tuned to see if we discover anything more about that thump, or if we just ignore it, that means we didn't find anything else out about it. And stay tuned for more work down in the sandbar, more tunneling, more projects, more stupid Sandland stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.